it's Tim's turn.
Okay, good.
We've got 3 more people then open mic. Hello everyone, I'd like to welcome up Neall Ryon, the World Poetry Cafe co-host and author, launching his new book tonight. So I guess he's the second part of the dueling book tournament. He says, like many on the path before me, I am a knight errant, a seeker of the secrets of the Holy Grail. I have a poem centered around this idea, so I don't want to say any more. Without further ado, let us welcome to the Camelot room, Neall Ryon.
Well, hello.
Hello.
What is it, Candace? It's 16 months ago. I was walking down the stairs with Candace and she said, do you write poems? And I said, I've just written my first one. And being the ornery human being that she is, because I said, I'm not going to get up and read a poem. I didn't know who she was, but she said at the end of the show, and Neal's got a poem. I was sitting back in the corner. So that was 16 months ago.
Wow. And now he's got a book.
I have a book with 2 short stories and 60 poems and about 30 haikus.
Beautiful, I love it.
It was published in December, and the first short story is about a soul having a conversation with what I call awareness, it's a euphemism for God, having a conversation with God before he's born, before he's inserted into the child being born at the moment the child is being born. Then there's 60 poems and 30 haikus, and at the end there's a short story called To the Other Side, which is about the death and the conversation that takes place as the soul rejoins the other side. Tarot card mystery book, and it says, in the unimpeded openness of a crystal clear Northern Ontario winter's night, the sky was ablaze with starlight displaying vastness beyond vastness, immensity beyond immensity. I was a 9-year-old looking up at an uncountable little dots of silver, little lights tinted with hints of reds and blues, floating on a sea of total blackness. I was totally humbled by the sight of the heavens above me, totally awestruck by the magnificence of the sky. There were a million stars, and I felt a sense of wonder to see this vastness beyond vastness. Life's mundane day-to-day drama had been drawn back for a moment, and behind the curtain was the truth that as conscious beings, we are living an amazing adventure. The following is my poem entitled, I Am. I write poetry, but I'm not a poet. I made a living as a business consultant, traveling the world, but I never really thought I am a business consultant. I did work for the federal, Ontario, Alberta, and BC governments, and I completed several studies for both UBC and SFU measuring the value of technology-based inventions, but I never felt I could honestly say, I'm a marketing consultant. I lectured at BCIT on creating a successful business, and for 9 years, along with others, I mentored a summer program on business planning at SFU, eventually to become the chair of one of the mentoring panels. As well, for 8 years, I enjoyed being a member of the Advanced Systems Institute Business Advisory Board, but I never considered myself an authority on business strategies. I had a business in Dalian, China, with 14 employees providing engineering support services, and on returning to Vancouver under very unusual circumstances, I was invited to to attend the secret ceremony of certified engineers called the Rite of the Colin, that's where they receive their iron ring. I received one, but I never wear it because I'm not an engineer. I studied a variety of alternative healing techniques and the power of the mind to facilitate healings. I was asked to teach a stress management energy technique to cancer patients at a specialty cancer clinic here in Vancouver. I did so for 4 years, but I have no medical training, nor am I an authority on healing. I have walked the beaches in South Island, New Zealand in a raging rainstorm, and I have, in brilliant sunshine, climbed the steps of the Parthenon in Greece. In southeast China, I canoed and rode horses in the hills and forests of the backcountry. I climbed the last 300 to 400 meters to the lookout platform on Jade Dragon Snow Mountain. The platform is at 4,500 meters, which is 15,300 feet in my language. One can see forever from up there. I studied the Tao Te Ching and the Yi Ching, the Chinese teachings about eternal balance of yin and yang. I actually touched a panda bear on a visit to the panda breeding center in Chengdu in Sichuan province. I have done darshan puja. And to tell you what that is, I have kissed the feet of an authentic Hindu guru. But I am not a devotee of Hindu gurus. I have been to the Tibetan Buddhist temple in Shangri-La, but I do not say I am a follower of the teachings of the Buddha. I have been blessed with these and 1,000 other teachings of wisdom in the philosophy of thought, but I am not a follower of any specific teaching. These were the way I earned my living in the things I've done, and like you here tonight, I am the sum of those experiences, plus 1,000 more teachings that I neither have time nor memory that allows me to list them. In all these adventures, I sought the Holy Grail. I sought to know the unknowable. I sought to know myself. And in my conclusion about the I am is that I am blessed to be an actor on this stage we call life, and I am honored to be the playwright that writes it. I got 3 minutes, good. I got one small poem. Well, small, that's a relative comment, but anyway. It's called How Dare You Write Poetry? Can you hear him? I can. He's the voice in my head that said, how dare you write poetry? It was clear and distinct. How dare you write poetry? The voice said, stop, stop, this is not good for you. Interesting, I thought, as I sat down to write this poem. Whose voice is that? It's stern like a man's voice, but whether it's father's voice or mother's voice, it simply doesn't matter. They both reside inside my head, wanting to tell me where the unsafe boundaries begin. The boundaries that pretend, if followed, will keep me safe. How effective are those boundaries now? That's a fallacy because it's not true no matter how safe you play it. In the end, we all die. Maybe the purpose of the voices, as primitive as they are, is to keep the monkey alive long enough to procreate. The goddess of procreation is the owner of the voice heard on the inner sanctum of my mind. For a million years, that voice has urged us to survive, follow the rules, and live. Here, God said as she splattered sticky, gooey protoplasm across the cooling earth, go forth and multiply and see what you can make of that. That edict has been driving every species ever since to procreate. This is the paramount edict of existence that drives all species, keeping survival and evolving through reproduction. Parents who are parents become parents who become parents, changing microbially in accordance with conditions, until perhaps one day we can say to God, Mother, this is what we've made of it. Every species exists because of the voices from the primitive mind, instructions that strive to ensure continuation of the seed. Variations of these rules have passed down century after century, but boundaries deter our need to expand. So why is it not safe to write poetry? Because it is not safe to stand out among the crowd. They might see my imperfections. For a hyper-narcissistic introvert like me, standing naked and unashamed before the world is the most life-threatening thing there is to do. But there is another voice, a more urgent voice, a louder voice, that says expand, grow, defy the rules, defy the boundaries, and express the voice. Express the voice that comes from the other side, that wants to speak its truth. Share the knowledge that it is time to move from animal-based rules of greed, lust, and desire for more, time to move to a life of awareness. Awareness that comes from the heart, supported by our emotions. Awareness that allows us to see how difficult it is to exist as a spiritual being living in a human body. With that voice that tells me to be safe, how dare I write poetry? I do because I must. Thank you.
Certificate for you.
Congratulations on publishing your book, Neil.
Hey, thank you. Books.
Books, multiple. Excellent.
Can you show the certificate?
Yeah.
Please, yeah. Thank you.
Wait till I comb my hair. Take my glasses off.
On the bottom of the certificates is the amount that we've given out over the years.
Nice.
Thank you all.
Thank